As E3 approaches, Loki, a Relogic administrator, has made several revealing statements on the official forums. We've been a little bit starved for console and mobile 1.3 information after having received a deluge of updates, and so I'm going to review Loki's recent statements so that we all have something to chew on until a more substantial update becomes available. Now first I'm going to start with a little on console development. It's not much, and then we'll move on to his comments on Mobile Terraria, so keep watching. The first situation involved a user complaining about receiving lag on console Terraria in certain situations. In response, Loki wrote, quote, "Again, I have no idea what the technical side behind the issue is. That is something I would have to defer to Pipeworks to address and share details about. Perhaps what they are working on will address it, perhaps not, as it seems it would likely have been tied to some other issue if it occurred as you say. All I am saying is what I know, that content-wise 1.3.5 is next, and they have a bug list that is currently more focused on crashes than other issues. Beyond that, I have to defer to them as I simply do not know. Sorry." So, other than fixing crashes for console version, 1.3.5 is next for consoles. For those not familiar with 1.3.5, it was a fairly significant patch for the PC. It added numerous foreign language translations, overall improved visuals, some new furniture sets, and probably most interestingly, 4K support, zoom feature, UI scaling, that sort of thing. So it was a big quality of life upgrade. It didn't really add a lot of content. It was more about the appearance and finish of the game. Loki doesn't work for Pipeworks, he works for Relogic, so I'm sure he can't really give any timetable on 1.3.5 for consoles. Following up on the comment on bug fixes versus added content, Loki continued, quote, "Right, the notion is that they do both, not just screw any bugs, let's do content. That said, some stuff often gets pushed for a good long while, even on PC. We had a massive backlog when we started 1.3.6, for example. I'm giving the info that I have, the rest I simply don't know, so I tend not to even go there when in that situation." Which, as I said, reflects that he doesn't work for Pipeworks, which is the developer responsible for console updates. So anyway, not all bugs may be addressed for consoles with the 1.3.5 patch that they're working on, but that takes care of the console updates. As I said, we didn't have too much on that. Let's move on to mobile. Let's see what Loki had to say about Mobile Terraria. It all began with a comment responding to a user who wrote, quote, "I hope they do not change the controls to this cluttered mess." To which Loki replied, quote, "Evolution is what makes things better for gamers everywhere. Let me give you an analogy that I think is quite apt to what we will have here. This, more or less, is what you are using to control current Mobile Terraria." And then they showed this controller. For those not familiar, it's the classic NES controller for the Nintendo Entertainment System from the 1980s. It's old school, it's very basic, obviously, as you can see. You don't need me to tell you that. Anyway, Loki continued, "Granted, the left side is an analog stick, but the right side is a binary left-right control, effectively captured by our A and B buttons here. Of course, you have touch controls to a degree as well, as it is mobile after all. This is more akin to what you are going to be getting, again on top of even better touch controls that provide redundancies as well, so that you have more than one way to use a given weapon or tool." And he showed this in his post. And he said, "This allows for people to fall into their own hybrid styles over time, merging touch and sticks and buttons together in different ways, sometimes even tailored to the given scenario. There is a reason we are not all using controllers from 1985 anymore. Games evolved to a point where they simply demanded more. Using a 2019 solution to a 2019 game seems more wise in our book." Loki just called the current mobile controls old and busted, as far as I can tell. He compared the change in mobile control schemes to the change between the NES controller from the mid-1980s and the Switch Pro controller from the present generation. Now that's a bold statement. We've all seen videos of the current mobile version in action. Well, I would say the upcoming mobile version in action, Mobile 1.3. So what do experienced mobile users think about what they've seen so far? Is he puffing up the value of this new control scheme? Are you able to tell by just looking at the videos? I'm going to go over another comment he wrote later in this video that adds to the analysis of the new control schemes. But for now, let's look at what Loki said in response to the following. Quote, "I'm starting to think that the mobile version will get 1.3 as its last update, or not get 1.3 at all." And he responded with, quote, "I know that you were wrong. Wink." That is a bit cryptic because it could imply that the poster is wrong about mobile not getting 1.3 at all. But correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like he's actually saying that mobile will get more than just 1.3 in the future, that 1.3 won't be the final update. That's consistent with other commentary I've posted in my recent videos, and it seems to me pretty clear from everything that they've written in the past few weeks that Mobile Terraria development will not stop with 1.3. Of course, we'll all probably be in retirement by the time Mobile 1.3 hits, so I wouldn't expect 1.3.6 for mobile in the next 12 calendar months or anything crazy like that. But still, I guess in the back of our minds it is nice to think that they will have the complete game on Mobile Terraria at some point. Anyway, here's the last comment to which Loki responded. "I'm kind of confused as to why they would leave some exclusives in console as legacy items and stuff, but remove it all for mobile. Also, when mobile updates to 1.3, will a placed Okram trophy in a world break the world or make it not playable anymore?" And Loki wrote, "There are very good reasons for this, some of which will take some time to coalesce. Trust in the plan is all I can say for now." Trust in the plan? It will take some time to coalesce? What does that mean? What do those statements mean? My gut tells me maybe if I had to reach for something, it could mean crossplay between mobile and PC. There's got to be something more to all of these cryptic comments. I just can't put my finger on what it means. So those of you watching, do you have any theories? Feel free to post a comment below, because I'm sure you probably know more about this than I do or have some good ideas that I haven't thought of. But his post didn't end with the trust in the plan comment. No, it also included the following comments. Quote, "I don't know why people always hate on mobile. Not saying that you are, but it seems like no one likes it. I think it's better, but others make it worse as developers delay updates, usually getting PC and console first, and most don't even make a mobile version. I will not lie, I could never really stomach the current mobile version, just could not get into it at all. It felt completely, I feel completely 180 degrees different about the new 1.3 version, as evidenced by my 130 hours plus of just normal gameplay already." So that wasn't written as clearly as it could have been, but presumably in that first paragraph he was talking generally about other game developers and their mobile counterparts to console and PC versions, and how they either suck or don't exist at all, and I think that's what he was getting across. But anyway, what's far more interesting to me is how he ended his comment with the gushing enthusiasm for 1.3 mobile and how it controls. As he said, a 180-degree shift that's another bold statement he makes about just how good he thinks mobile 1.3 is. And I guess it reflects his strong feelings about just the quality of the new control schemes and the new code and all of that. So time will tell, the proof is in the pudding, and I think we will ultimately have to get some opinions from people who don't work for Relogic to get really a kind of comprehensive feeling for how good it is or isn't. I don't know what kind of a non-disclosure agreement beta testers are going to have to sign when they enroll in the 1.3 beta, but I hope it's not going to prevent some feedback from the community who is involved. I'm going to love hearing from people who are in the user base for this beta once it starts and what they think of all of the changes, because as I said earlier, Loki's making some really bold statements about how awesome it seems to be. So I guess we'll find out. Anyway, that's it. I expect a big update coming quite soon this month. Of course, as soon as anything's available, I'll try to make and then post a video, so keep an eye on the channel for more news. At any rate, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.